Good morning, everyone. It is a great pleasure to be here this morning with you, and thank you to the SPA for this invite. My name is Paula Panarra, and I am the General Manager for Microsoft in Portugal. Today, I will be talking Good morning, everyone. It is a great pleasure to be here this morning with you, and thank you to the SPA for this invite. My name is Paula Panarra, and I am the General Manager for Microsoft in Portugal. Today, I will be talking with all of you about some notions on artificial intelligence and also what we are doing in Microsoft from an innovation strategy, but also culture point of view in the area of artificial intelligence. There are no doubt many definitions on artificial intelligence, and we can basically talk it and approach it as a lot of different names: expert systems, data mining, predictive analytics, and so on. But what sets artificial intelligence apart from software is that AI has the ability to learn from data and experiences instead of only being explicitly programmed. So the real objective is to extend the abilities of people and organizations. It's a set of tools and approaches designed to augment our own capabilities. Intuition, self-awareness, and our unique ability to be curious is what makes us human, and it's what distinguishes artificial intelligence from human intelligence. Human intelligence is very complex. It's a mix of perceptual intelligence, cognitive intelligence that enables our ability to perceive, think, learn from different experiences, understand the complex concepts, apply reason, solve logic problems, recognize patterns, make decisions, acquire knowledge, and interact with each other. Artificial intelligence is an amplifier of all these, and that's really what it's planning to do, is to pursue the augmenting of the human abilities to solve for innovation and bigger problems with the tools that AI is giving all of us. In the case of Microsoft, we've been on research for these topics for more than 29 years. We have 8 research centers across the globe, And with those 8 labs, more than 1,000 researchers, we've been evolving to more than 4,000 worldwide patents. And this is the core of the innovation work we are doing to fuel some breakthroughs on technology related with cognitive and artificial intelligence. All the way from 2016, where object recognition gained human parity, to moving for machine translation parity, speech synthesis parity, or more recently, all related with vision captioning at human parity. And all this innovation is what is enabling today artificial intelligence tools and is accelerating the adoption of many of these new concepts, especially as technology continues to accelerate the transformation we are all doing, and also the way it is enabling all that we do, not only at work, but also in our professional life. And this notion that cloud computing brought on everything as a service is in fact making almost all companies that want to succeed in their own sector and area of activity to become a software company. So it's really their technology that they use to enable their own company that is making the difference and making them global companies. So what is happening today is that as we infuse artificial intelligence tools into the software existing in the companies, the truth is we will be evolving to what we call every company will become an AI company because of the data that is coming from the very different processes and technologies that exist, being those on empowering the employees, or engaging with the customers, the information that comes from the products or from the operations. So the focus on data is really the key for this feedback loop that is fueling innovation. Innovation fueled by our ability to reason over massive amounts of data is the driving force behind companies' successful digital transformation. With data and AI at the core, organizations can put AI into action to power this transformation, creating a digital feedback loop that really helps them become more agile, more resilient, and unlock this new value for their own customers. So the question is, what is stopping organizations from transforming even further using artificial intelligence? And according to a study from McKinsey, the top barriers to adopt AI aren't lack of value, usefulness, or relevance of AI. It comes down to really whether the organizations are or not ready to implement and to make it work. So if you look the top 3 barriers to adoption, 43% is the lack of a clear strategy, lack talent with appropriate skill set, and still dealing with some functional silos that constrain the ability to look into the end-to-end AI solutions and the power they can have for the organization. So what is still not ready is really the culture of embracing artificial intelligence as an innovation accelerator. The connection between innovation and transformation is very clear. Over the last several years, we've seen the link between innovation and transformation evolving. 81% digitally mature companies cite innovation as their own strength, and strong innovative leaders have extended their leadership over the 5 years. 94% of executives see digital transformation as one of the top strategic priorities. So organizations that harness and scale the use of AI faster than their competitors will clearly have long-term advantages. Artificial intelligence in enterprise amplifies the human ingenuity to help employees to do more, achieve more, and learn more along the way. There remains a wide gap between organizations that have embraced AI as a powerful lever to advance their business and those that have not. And we believe it comes down to three essential elements. AI has to have a meaning. It's meaningful innovation, what we are talking about, is really to make AI part of the business and make it part of the core processes. AI has to empower everyone. So organizations that successfully embrace AI know the value and make their employees ready as well with the data, the knowledge, but also the skills. And finally, AI needs to be designed and used in a responsible way. That's no doubt an obligation of the industry in the way we evolve those tools, but also in the way it is used, guiding by principles that include fairness, transparency, and of course, the governance needed to make sure the practices use AI responsibly. When we talk about making AI meaningful, we really look for the move from a plan with a purpose for impact. So we really need to move from pilots and scattered initiatives to absolutely mission critical and production processes that should really take advantage of all the AI tools that the company has available. Focusing on tangible business outcomes, this is really about making a difference in the business and not only about a small project and a small initiative. And it should talk about moonshot thinking. Organizations can't afford to operate as business as usual. So what's your moonshot? Don't limit the application of AI to a few technical departments. It's really about expanding the AI possibilities across the organization and across all the possible processes. When we talk about making the organization ready, that's really what makes a difference in the way it can evolve from the so-called pilots to really becoming core in the organizations. So when we compare where the companies that are leading innovation are in a cultural point of view, you really see the difference in the importance of communication, employee autonomy, as well as ensuring the right training is in place. Empowering people, it's really one of the core for the organizations to take the most value from artificial intelligence. It's really to implement it across the entire organization. And the truth is, many of the tools, and I mentioned here most of the common Microsoft tools that people use every day at work, they are really incorporating artificial intelligence to improve everyday employees, business employees in core functions, advanced business roles, and of course, even further, the ones that are developing and bringing their data science into the companies. And many of these artificial intelligence tools are really off-the-shelf tools that are already incorporated in the core of our solutions. Like, for example, in the productivity tools that we use every day, but also in the more customized tools that developers and data scientists can create within a certain sector, a certain area of business to enhance the innovation and effectiveness of the tools in the company. And lastly, but definitely not the least, how we look into AI from a responsibility point of view. There is an ethical side that absolutely needs to be taken care of. The way companies approach AI is absolutely changing the topic of responsible AI has become the most important theme in the enterprise AI market in 2019, and more companies are struggling with challenges in governance, security, and compliance. The ability of AI systems to ensure data security and privacy and the level of transparency of how these systems work and are trained are now the two most important requirements when investing in machine learning technology. At the same time, studies have shown that explainability of algorithms are one of the key factors holding business back from implementing AI. Trust in AI systems is tied to transparency, and without trust, people do not want to adopt AI. If AI systems are opaque and unable to explain how or why certain results are presented, this lack of transparency will undermine trust in the system and in any results. There are hundreds of machine learning algorithms that data scientists can access, and new ones emerging every day. In producing a functional business tool, the correct algorithm and machine learning problem must be in total alignment. We believe development and deployment of AI must be guided by the creation of an ethical framework, and the first principle we defined is fairness. For AI, this means that AI systems should treat everyone fairly and avoid affecting similarly situated groups of people in different ways. For example, when AI systems provide guidance on medical treatment, loan applications, or employment, they should make the same recommendations to everyone with similar symptoms, financial circumstances, or professional qualifications. The second principle is reliability and safety. To build trust, it's important that AI systems operate reliably, safely, and consistently under normal circumstances and in unexpected conditions. How they behave and the variety of conditions they can handle reliably and safely largely reflects the range of situations and circumstances that developers anticipate during design and testing. It's also crucial to develop AI systems that can protect private information and resist to any attack. For the 1 billion of people with disabilities around the world, AI technologies can be a game changer. AI can improve access to education, government services, employment, information, and a wide range of other opportunities. So inclusive design practices can really help system developers understand and address potential barriers in a product environment that could unintentionally exclude people. When AI systems are used to help inform decisions that have tremendous impact on people's lives, it's critical that people understand how those decisions were made. Transparency is what we refer to as intelligibility, or the useful explanation of the behavior of the systems and their components. Our last principle is accountability. We believe people who design and deploy AI systems must be accountable for how their systems operate. The need for accountability is particularly crucial with sensitive use technologies like facial recognition. So we have called these principles our principles for responsible AI. So how do we put these AI principles into practice? At Microsoft, we are putting our responsible principles with a system of governance that guides our development. For us, it really starts with practices that are grounded in human-centric design that span roles. We've taken over 20 years of research and have applied it in the development of these AI guidelines and standards that are meant to help others anticipate and address potential issues throughout the software development lifecycle and develop a responsible AI system. Some of our guidelines include human AI guidelines, conversational AI guidelines, inclusive design guidelines, and AI fairness checklist, and also data sheets for data sets. In addition to all those practices, we've developed a set of tools to help others understand, protect, and control their own AI at every stage of the innovation. And in addition to these principles and practices and tools, governance is critical to maintain responsible approach to AI. It starts from the very beginning in the business case through all the way to the design development and the outgoing management of AI. Our current model relies upon centralized and decentralized functions to put our responsible AI principles into practice. And when we think, as mentioned, on our principles into practice, we've also developed a set of tools to help others understand, protect, and control their AI at every stage of innovation. So our tools are a result of collaboration across disciplines to help you identify and optimize AI, machine learning with responsibility in mind. And what's now next? We can't see beyond the horizon, but definitely we can imagine the possibilities. And for decades, researchers and engineers have experimented, though many of those experiments result in failure. There have also been profound successes. So it's this creative energy that keeps us always looking to the future. So the first trend for us is this idea of AI at scale. This is really a combination of research innovations in natural language processing that allowed us to create massive models supported by AI supercomputing in the cloud. So these massive deep learning language models will be together with a supercomputer Azure AI, and when we combine these massive models and AI supercomputing, we do believe we will be able to see AI at scale and get to this point where we said every company will become an AI company in the future. Thank you very much.